Alright, so last week we had a fantastic photo shoot with Ruben and Aneka. We went around the city and here are some photos. I just wanted to edit some live and show you guys what my thinking process is like. So editing is quite important in my workflow. It really brings a photo to life. Subtle changes make a big difference. So let's get started with this photo here. This is a shot where I asked the couple to walk across the walkway. The first thing I'm going to do is just crop it because I want them to be relatively centered, maybe a little off to the left. Right about there. I don't want to cut off the Harbor Bridge flags on top there. I'm going to leave it. And just going to see, amazing, sharp. Okay, one of the first things I'm gonna do is make sure the lens corrections are on. And now let's go to our adjustments. White balance is fine. Just gonna lower the exposure just a little bit. Contrast, I usually crank it down to about -40, just so it gives me a nice flat image to work with. Highlights, just gonna bring it down all the way, it doesn't hurt. Maybe about 80%, -80. Shadows, can leave it there a bit. Whites. Now, because I adjusted the contrast, now I'm gonna add a bit of contrast back, especially the black. It just gives me a lot more control. So, really darkens Aneka's hair there, which is great. So now, it's looking a little bit green there. Just gonna add a bit more tint back and warm it up just slightly. Okay, now texture. To make a dreamy look, I always turn down the texture a little bit, and same for the clarity. So say about -10, just a subtle look. So if we go before, after, looking a little bit purple there, so we'll just move it back a little bit. About there. I'm gonna adjust the greens later anyway. Onto our curve, I usually do slight adjustment there, just holding Alt, and there. Here, this is a nice trick I always use. So instead of just adjusting the red, orange, yellow, etc., I just click the selection button there and just change it there however I want it. So I would like it to be a little bit more green. Oof, too much? Yeah, that's about right. And desaturate it just a little, just so it doesn't take away from our subjects in the photo. So cool, just about there. It does look a little bit dark to me, so I'm gonna adjust the exposure back. And just to highlight the subjects here, I am going to add a vignette. Just about there. Cool. It's before and after. Actually, I'll just do a side by side. Here's a before and after look, so we can see how much we've changed from the original. It's always good to keep an eye on that. That looks pretty good there. I might just add okay. Now, let me just add a graduated filter from the top, just so we draw even more focus onto our couple there. It's from the top, darken the sky a little bit, and that looks pretty good. One of the last things I might do, I don't need any color grade. I don't need it to be too stylized, so I might just adjust the calibration a little bit there, make the skin tones a little bit towards the orangey warmer side, so you can see it before, after, before, after. It's a little change towards the whole image. And less color, more color. Yeah, that looks pretty good there. Are there any adjustments I can do to the reds? I don't want to go too far, that'll look like they're completely yellow there. Not too much, just a little there. Oh, let me just double check. Does it look natural? Yeah, that looks not too bad. Actually, it does make the skin a little bit too orange, so what I usually do is go up here. -15 is what I generally feel makes it look natural. Okay, that looks good there. You may have noticed I have made a copy here. That's because when I saw this photo, I wanted to deliver one in black and white. So what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna synchronize the crop and all the settings. Or I could just create a virtual copy, doesn't matter. Anyway, now let's go and take out all the saturation there. And because this is a black and white image, we need to adjust the contrast a little bit and draw even more focus towards our subject. So let me reduce the contrast a little bit more just so we can see more of our couple. And I am going to add another graduated filter from the side. Just maybe make it -0.3, 0.4, okay, 0.5, a bit darker, that looks nice. And I will duplicate the gradient and just put it on this side. Rotate. Nice. Now it kind of like just draws you into the photo, into Aneka and Ruben there. Okay. One thing I might do is I might add a radio filter and brighten them up just slightly. Slightly there. What does the white do? Oof. A little bit too much. Less highlights. Any detail can we get? No, that looks good there. Let's see. That looks pretty nice. So that's color, and this one's black and white. Nice. Alright, on to our second photo here. It's a nice walking shot. Just first thing, center it, because there's no point editing unwanted pixels. And we're just gonna go through each slider. So bring down the highlights, shadows. Don't want too much detail, maybe about there. Do our contrast adjustment. Bring up the whites, blacks where we need it to. Yep, that looks fantastic. And do our softening a bit. So -10, -10. Add a bit of a curve, so brighten it back up with the curve. I haven't touched the exposure because it was exposed pretty well. Bring it down there. Cool. And I might just add a little fade tail there. Cool. Nice. I think profile corrections, make sure I add that. See? It brightens up the entire image, so we're just gonna add a vignette back into the photo there, and that looks pretty good. So a quick before, after, very nice. Skin tone's looking alright, so that's good. Last photo here, in front of a red barn door in front of a church. Just something we stumbled upon as we were doing a photo shoot. So again, first thing, crop it. I try to center the door and crop out the gate there. I should have seen that when I took the photo, but we were kind of running around the city, so didn't pay too much attention to it. So let me see if the door is straight, and that's about it. What's that? 0.11 degrees. Gotta be specific, those numbers. All right. Now, profile correction, chromatic aberration, turn that on, brightens it up. So we're just gonna make a vignette again, highlighting our subject, and now we go back up. So there's no real kind of rule with editing. It's just, it comes with experience and practice, and how you feel the image will look. Maybe as I get better at these tutorials, I can explain each step that I'm doing. So it's looking a little bit dark, so I might increase the exposure there. Looks alright. I'm gonna adjust it a bit more with the curves. So holding Alt, bring it up a little slightly, and bring down the shadowy part. About there. Just gonna check before and after. So the skin's looking a little orange. So instead of changing the temperature there, because I think it's a good white balance, I'm just gonna come down here and just click on that eyedropper, lower the orange a little bit. I don't want to go too over. This is like too much, right? So I'm just gonna, reset. Then I'm just gonna lower it slightly, -10 and -1 in the yellow. That looks alright. And now we can go back to our adjustments. Say -10. Might bring the shadows up back a little bit, and add a bit of a fade. I don't think it changes the image too much. So if we're looking at just the curves, that's after, before, and after. That's alright. Okay, I think we need to draw a bit more focus into a couple. So add our filters. I wanna add, I don't put filters on every single photo, especially on the photo shoot, because it just takes too much time, and because I keep moving my angles, these filters don't quite match up if I synchronize them. So it's only for the highlight photos that I put a little bit more time in each photo. This is something I learned when I first started editing, is that I would try and put a graduated filter in every single photo, and it would just take me ages to edit a batch of photos. So close enough is good enough. Alright, now that looks looking pretty good there. Let me see if I can adjust the calibration a little bit to make it pop a bit more. Oof, I like that. Because yellow isn't really my color, I try to adjust it a little bit towards the left. And the green, not too much. The reds, see, if I go too much, just changes the image completely. So the key is to be subtle. Yeah. What happens if I change the saturation? Nope, too much. That looks good there. That quick before, after, looks really nice. And now, if we just have a look at all of our images, looks pretty good. Let me turn off the lights here and have a look. Let me unselect this one. That is a pretty good story right there. Amazing. I think I will leave it there. Hope you enjoyed this little editing session, and I'll catch you tomorrow.